Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Josh Strife Hayes, and this is a super simple beginner's guide to killing Vorkath in Old School Runescape. Because this is a beginner's guide, I'll be using average equipment on a non-maxed account and explaining everything you'll need to know in detail, including how to prepare for the fight itself, and then some tips and tricks to make it easier. This guide is focused on helping you get your first kill. We'll be using ranged attacks, so it's recommended to have 75 range. As with all my guides, this will be long and in-depth, so grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's learn Vorkath. 1. What is Vorkath? Vorkath is a level 732 undead blue dragon. He's a mini-boss you'll need to fight in the Dragon Slayer 2 quest, and then after you finish the quest, you can return and fight him again. The fight is entirely solo and instanced, meaning other players cannot help you. The quest version is much easier. During Dragon Slayer 2, Vorkath is combat level 392 with 460 hit points. After the quest, he'll be combat 732 with 750 hit points. Both versions have exactly the same attacks and mechanics. He'll use all three combat styles and has two very powerful special attacks. I'll explain these in detail later. 2. How do you get to him? Vorkath is north of Relica, and you'll need to take a boat from the Relica docks. Talk to Thorfinn and he'll take you to Vorkath's island. This is the same both in and after the quest. Thorfinn is also the guy you'll need to talk to when you die and need to get your stuff back. Once on the small island, head down the path and jump over the pile of rubble. Vorkath won't wake up until you poke him. 3. His arena and attacks. Let's examine where we'll be fighting and then what Vorkath can do before we form an attack plan. The arena. Vorkath's arena is a medium-sized square room with Vorkath in the centre. He can turn on the spot to see the whole room, but he cannot move from where he is. Now, let's examine what Vorkath can do. All of his attacks. Vorkath has 9 attacks, each of them very visually different. A standard melee hit. If you stand next to him, he'll swipe at you with his claws. A standard magic attack. It's a small blue orb of energy. And a standard ranged attack. A sharp, spiked ball. Vorkath also has 4 different types of dragonfire. Red Dragonfire, which hits high but has no special effects. Green Dragonfire, which can cause venom on the player, which is a more dangerous form of poison. Pink Dragonfire, which will turn off all your currently active prayers when it hits you, regardless of whether it does damage or not. And the final, Deadly Mortar. This isn't considered a special attack, but is arguably the most dangerous thing he can do. He'll spit a fireball into the air and arc it down onto you. It's slow moving, and if you're standing under it when it lands, you'll take up to 121 damage. If you are directly next to the square it lands on, you'll take half of this. They are his normal attacks. Now, let's look at the 2 special attacks. Acid Rain combined with Dragonfire Barrage. Vorkath will cry up to the sky and cover some squares of the floor with green acid. If you walk over these tiles, you'll take about 10 damage, and any damage you do take from the acid will heal Vorkath. At the same time as this, he'll start rapidly spitting fireballs at you. He'll spit 25 times, and each one that hits you will deal between 25 and 41 damage. For the second special attack, he'll freeze you, then spit out a small enemy called a zombified spawn. It'll land a few paces away from you, run towards you, and explode, hitting you for up to 60 damage. The freeze effect will end when the zombified spawn dies. So he's pretty dangerous. However, the damage from every attack can be heavily reduced or straight up avoided. Let's go through them again and discuss how. 1. The melee attack. Vorkath can't move, so by staying out of his melee range, he's unable to use this. we'll be ranging him, so this attack will never be a problem. 2. The magic attack, the small blue ball, is completely negated by protection prayers. So praying protect from magic, which is what we'll be doing, will block all the damage from this attack. You don't need to worry about it. 3. The ranged attack is also blocked by protection prayers, so praying protect from missiles does stop this. However, we'll be praying protect from mage for the entire fight. So this is actually the attack we'll take the most unavoidable damage from, and we'll be relying on our armor to deflect this one. Now the Dragonfire attacks. As with all Dragonfire, you'll need some protection against it. Ideally a combination of various types of protection. Mainly the anti-dragon shield, extended super anti-fire potions, and the protect from magic prayer. I haven't mentioned the Dragonfire shield because it gives negative ranging bonuses and we don't want that. And the Dragonfire ward costs just shy of 30 million, which is way too expensive for this guide. Now, Vorkath is so powerful that even with maximum Dragonfire protection, he can still hit us. So I find the best combination to use is an extended super anti-fire potion and keeping protect from magic on. This way, we'll mitigate most of the damage and free up our shield hand. With the Dragonfire protection the best it can be, let's look at how it changes the attacks. The regular red Dragonfire will be mostly absorbed, very rarely hitting its maximum of 10. The green Venom Dragonfire now will absorb the damage but not the venom. Because of this, we'll need to bring an anti-venom potion. Not just anti-poison, that's not good enough. It must be anti-venom plus. The regular anti-venom gives protection from venom for 45 seconds, then regular poison for 12 minutes. This isn't long enough. The anti-venom plus gives us venom protection for 3 minutes, then regular poison for 12 more. So, by combining the Dragonfire absorption methods and the anti-venom potions, we've dealt with the green Dragonfire. The pink Dragonfire will turn our prayers off regardless of whether it does damage or not. During this fight, we're going to want to pray protect from mage at all times, and ideally the highest ranging prayer we've got, which will likely be Eagle Eye. Have protect from magic and Eagle Eye on your quick prayers, and whenever the pink Dragonfire turns them off, just click them on again. Simple. Now the Arcing Bomb attack, the Fireball Mortar. All you need to do to completely negate all damage from this attack is be 2 or more squares away from where it lands. The moment you see it launched, walk 2 squares away. Remember, you can hold Control and click to run instead. If you're 2 or more squares away, it won't do any damage. With the regular attacks avoided, let's look at how to avoid the special attacks. Acid Rain and the Quickfire Barrage. The most important thing you can do for this phase is make sure you are not running. Turn your run off. I'll say this again later in the guide, but make sure run is turned off. Run off? Good. In order to avoid the acid pools, you need to just not walk over them. This sounds pretty simple. In order to not take any damage from the Fireball Barrage, you need to just keep constantly walking. This also sounds simple. Combining them together, however, is what makes this phase dangerous. One attack needs us to stand still, the other needs us to be constantly moving. The best thing to do during this phase is find a long stretch of tiles with no poison on and walk back and forth from end to end. If you are walking, the barrage will always miss you. If you have to make a choice between walk across a poison tile or stop walking, then choose the poison tile, every time. It's important to note that in RuneScape, when your character completely changes direction, you'll still walk 2 tiles ahead following your current path until you actually turn around. This means you must give yourself a 2 tile gap ahead of you to allow for the turning time. Basically, don't walk right up to the edge of a poison tile before you click. If you can't find a long stretch of safe tiles, you can do the walk trick in a row of just 5 or 6. It just means a lot more clicking back and forth. Don't try and attack Vorkath during this phase. He'll take 50% less damage anyway, and if you stop to attack, you'll be piled with fireballs. Just walk back and forth and don't die. With the Acid Rain and Barrage phase sorted, on to the next. The Freezing special attack is actually one of the easiest to deal with. What we need to do is kill the zombified spawn before it reaches us and explodes. Ranged attacks will work, but there's a better solution. The magic spell Crumble Undead. If you bring a Slayer Staff with you, then the runes to cast Crumble Undead, that's Chaos, Earth and Air, you can set the staff to auto-cast the spell. When Vorkath shoots the white freezing dragonfire at you, switch to the Slayer Staff and then click on the zombified spawn when it lands on the floor. You're almost guaranteed to one-shot kill it. Remember to set your Slayer Staff to auto-cast Crumble Undead before you go into the arena. While frozen, and for a second or two after the spawn dies, Vorkath is totally immune to all damage, so don't waste any special attacks on him in this brief window. And that is everything. All he can do, and we've managed to negate, absorb, or avoid most of it. But there's even more tricks we can use against him. Vorkath's attack cycle is predictable. He'll always use a random selection of 6 regular attacks, that's the melee, mage, range or dragonfire types, and then one of the special attacks, the Acid Rain or Freezing. Then he'll do 6 normal attacks again, and then the other special attack. They always rotate. So if you know what special attack he did last, you'll know what to expect next. And if you just count 6 attacks, you'll be ready for the special. The only real randomness is which special attack he uses first. 4. When do I eat? If Vorkath hits you, and he will, you'll want to eat, but doing so will interrupt your attacks and reduce your own damage output. So, are there any times we can eat during the fight without hurting our own damage per second? The answer is yes. First of all, always keep your health above 32. That's his ranged max hit, and as we're praying against magic, it's not unlikely we'll see that hit at some point. Now, the best time to eat is actually during his special attacks. If you eat during the 6 normal ones, you'll lose your own attacks and the kill will take much longer. But during the special attacks, we won't be attacking Vorkath anyway. During Acid Rain and Fireball Barrage, while walking up and down a strip of long tiles, you can eat food, drink potions, even turn your prayer off for a bit if you want to. Just make sure to turn it on again before the phase finishes. During the Freezing special attack, you can eat the instant he freezes you, and after you've cast Crumble Undead on the zombified spawn, you can't harm Vorkath anyway, so it's the perfect time to eat some food. If you panic and eat during the 6 regular attacks, that's fine. Just keep counting the 6 attacks out loud and think, hey, is this the 6th attack? If it is, I can eat soon. 5. What gear do I need? Now we know how to get to Vorkath and what to expect when we're there. What gear do we need to have to stand a chance of killing him? Everyone will tell you you'll need a Dragon Hunter crossbow and Elite Void, and everyone is wrong. These things do indeed speed up your kill, but you don't need them. Let's go through armor choices. To void or not to void. Void armor and its big brother Elite Void armor will increase your ranging damage and accuracy by 10% for the regular and 12.5% for the elite. This is fantastic if your ranged and defense levels are above 90, as it will massively increase your damage. However, if your range and defense levels are below 90, Void might be a bad choice. You won't benefit as much from the percentage boost, and its low defense stats will mean you end up taking much more damage over time. Because of this, I'd recommend If you are below 90 ranged and defense, you actually focus on pure numbers instead. For headgear, a Blessed God coif or Verax helm. The ranged defense provided by the helm will really help mitigate the ranged attack damage we have to take. If you're on a Blue Dragon Slayer task, a Slayer helm will help, but it won't stack with the Salve Amulet I'm going to suggest for the neck, and the Salve Amulet is better, so that takes priority. For a neck slot item, the absolute best thing you can wear is a Salve Amulet, imbued and enchanted. This is the Haunted Mine quest reward, enchanted with Tarn's Diary and then imbued at the Nightmare Zone. It provides a 20% damage and accuracy increase when attacking undead creatures, and Vorkath is indeed undead. The second best choice is an Amulet of Fury. For body and legs, Caril's is good, or Blessed God Dragonhide. If the ranging attacks are shredding you, a Verax skirt can be used for its great range defense. Boots can be Blessed Godhide or Snakeskin. I'm using Guthix Dragonhide for the prayer bonus. If you're thinking, why not Ranger Boots or Pegasians? The answer is because they're both just shy of 40 million and this is a beginner's guide. For gloves, the best you have from Recipe for Disaster. Barrows ideally. I mean, you're doing or have done Dragon Slayer 2, you really should have finished Recipe for Disaster by now. On your back, the best Ava device you can wear, which is likely going to be Ava's Accumulator. For rings, wear an Archer's Ring imbued from the Nightmare Zone. If you don't have one of those and can't afford any of the high-level rings, a Lumbridge Diary Ring will at least give you a small prayer bonus. In the ammunition slot, if you're using a blowpipe, equip a blessing. Any blessing for the prayer bonus. Now let's look at weapons. The absolute best in slot would be a Dragon Hunter crossbow and a Dragonfire ward, but this little combo would set us back the best part of 150 million, so absolutely not. If you use a one-handed weapon, like a dragon crossbow, you'll free up your shield hand. It's best to take an anti-dragon shield. You'll gain the Dragonfire protection benefit, and it doesn't have the negative ranging bonus of the Dragonfire shield. If you're going to use a dragon crossbow, then Adamant, Diamond-tipped bolts enchanted are a solid bet. You can use dragon bolts, but they're much more expensive. The best weapon I've found is the trusty Toxic Blowpipe. At 75 range, you can buy arguably one of the best range weapons in the game ever. It'll set you back just under 5 million, but it's absolutely worth it. Fill the blowpipe with adamant darts and Zulrah scales. A few thousand of each will see you through a few hours worth of kills. Rune or dragon darts are better, but I'm sticking with adamant because of the cost. If you can't afford a blowpipe, at a push, Caril's crossbow and bolt racks will do. It'll just make the kill take a bit longer. Now the question of special attacks. Should you take a spec weapon? Most players will suggest you take a Bandos Godsword and use the two specials instantly to lower Vorkath's defense. And this is a brilliant idea, but it'll cost you 13 million for the sword. For this kill, I won't be using a special attack weapon. And when I have special attack energy, I'll just be using the blowpipe. The blowpipe spec has a chance of recovering some health, and that will be quite useful to me. That's our equipment sorted. Now let's look at what we'll need in our inventory. This guide may be focused on getting your first quest kill or 1 or 2 kills after the quest, but we're still going to over-prepare. Firstly, runes to cast Crumble Undead or Teleport Away. The emergency teleport spell will be useful if we run into trouble or lag, and Crumble Undead is needed for the Zombified Spawn special attack. I have my runes in a rune pouch. Chaos, Law and Dust. If you don't have a rune pouch, that's fine, just have them in your inventory. The Slayer Staff is my weapon switch for the Zombified Spawn. You don't need a Slayer Staff, but it can have the Crumble Undead spell set to autocast, and equipping it will increase your magical accuracy. Plus, I won't need to tab to my spellbook and then back again to my inventory. It's just one simple item switch. Then I've got my extended super anti-fire potion for all the dragon fire attacks, and an anti-venom plus for the green venomous dragon fire. I'll be drinking these before the fight starts. I'm also bringing a bastion potion. It'll buff my defense and my ranging. I could bring the divine version, but they're expensive, so I'm sticking with the regular one. Then food. An inventory full of food. Sharks and manta rays are good enough. You might hear people tell you to bring the food cooked karambuan. This is because you can click to eat a shark, then instantly click to eat a karambuan, and you'll eat both of them in the same tick. This is known as tick eating and recovers a large amount of health in a short amount of time. This is a more advanced tactic, and I won't be using it in this guide. Then, some prayer potions. You'll be praying constantly, so those are needed. I bring 1 to 4 potions with me. We're only going for 1 or 2 kills. Now, we are ready. We know the arena, the boss, his attacks, and how to avoid them. We're geared up, and the inventory is prepared. Time to go and kill Vorkath. I filmed this kill earlier, so now I'm going to critique over it and explain what I'm doing as I do it. We'll start off at the Relica docks and we'll chat to Torfin. He will take us to Vorkath's island. Need to head north down the path, then over the rocks. Now I can run to get there quicker, but I've got to take that run off before I get in. Let's have a quick check before we go into the arena. Health is on maximum. Set my quick prayers up. I've got Protect from Magic and Eagle Eye good to go. And the run is definitely off. Got to keep that run off. Special attacks full. Blowpipe attack is on rapid, which is good. Slayer staff I need to set, make sure that's on Crumble Undead. That's my switch for the special attack later. That's all looking good. Blowpipe's back on. I've got my extended super anti-fire, my anti-venom, and my bastion potions, all my food, and my prayer potions at the bottom good to go. I'm wearing a Verax helm, my Ava's assembler, a salve amulet, an honourable blessing. I've got my toxic blowpipe there, Carol's top and bottom, Barrow's gloves, Guthix d'hide, and the Archer's ring. Quick check on my toxic blowpipe. I can see 4,000 darts and a few thousand scales. That's easily enough for 1 kill. Let's pop into the arena. Now Vorkath won't get up until we poke him, so we'll walk forward, and I'm going to drink all my potions before I wake this guy up. So we'll get the anti-fire, the anti-venom, and the bastion potion going on. We'll poke Vorkath. I'm going to take a few steps away and make sure my quick prayers are on. Step away so he can't melee me, and now we start attacking. That's a magic attack. That's fully negated by my prayer. Oh, there's the bomb. Walk 2 steps away. Attack again. That's going to turn my prayer off because it's pink, so click it back on. Regular fire breath. I can't do much about that, so just take it. There's the range attack. Now that's the only thing that's really going to rip me apart. 4 and 0. That's good. And here's the first acid rain. Right, I've got a run of about 6 squares that I'm in. I've just got to make sure I keep walking backward and forward and clicking before I get within 2 squares of that pool of acid. Now I could turn my prayer off here, but I don't really want to move my mouse too far away from me. Attack over, back to killing him. Ooh, 29, that's going to hurt. Now I don't want to eat a manta ray yet, but I'm going to risk it. I'm going to. And then avoiding the big bomb. Poison's fine. Pink turns the prayer off, so turn it back on. There's another ranged attack. Now the ranged ones really will be the source of your damage. Now I know the previous attack, special attack, was the acid rain, so I switch to my Slayer staff, click on the zombified spawn as soon as it appears, back to the blowpipe, and back to Vorkath. Nice and simple. Now I'll count the attacks. 1, 2, 3, it's Dragonfire. 4 is a magic, that's great. 5 is a mortar, so step away, and 6 is magic. So now I'm going to start walking because I know it's about to be the acid attack. And I was lucky enough to instantly get into a long run of tiles with nothing to worry about. Because there's such a long run of tiles, I've actually risked turning my prayer off for this. Have a quick bite, drink up a potion, put the prayer back on before the phase starts again, and back to Vorkath, counting 6 as I go. 1, that's the prayer. 2, that's basic Dragonfire. 3, that's the ranged attack. Ooh, 28. 4 is Dragonfire. I'm not going to eat yet. I'm going to wait for 6. 5 is the poison. Can avoid that. And 6, there's the magic attack. Now it's the special, so now I can eat and not lose any damage attacks of my own. Switch to the Slayer Staff, kill the zombified spawn, back to the blowpipe, and back onto Vorkath. 1. Ooh, 26. I don't want to risk taking more damage. I'm only at the very, very first. That's the 3rd attack. If I can wait for 6, that'd be good. 4. 5, run away from the mortar. And 6, another mortar. Excellent. So I was able to avoid eating during those big ones. Now I can eat. Ooh, walk straight across a tile there. Now I had to choose to walk across that tile because the other choice was stay still and get ripped apart by the fireballs. And that's never a choice you want to make. So keep walking back and forward. I'm not risking turning my prayer off for this one. I'd rather just focus on staying alive. Back to Vorkath for 6 more. There's a poison. There's a regular dragonfire. And Vorkath is down. Excellent. We managed to mitigate or avoid almost all of his attacks. And now we can see what we got. 44 Wrath Runes, 23 Red Dragonhide Notids, 2 Superior Dragon Bones as usual, and 2 Blue Dragonhides. And that comes to a total value of, let's have a quick look, of just under 100k. So just under 100k for about 4 minutes work. That is not bad. 6. I died. What do I do? First of all, don't worry. Dying at Vorkath isn't a major problem. If you return to Torfin on the docks of Relica, the guy that brought you to the island, you can pay 100k to claim all your stuff back. You don't even need to bring the money with you. He can take it directly from your bank. So why would you want to kill Vorkath after the quest? One main word: money. Vorkath is very good money. The average kill drop value is 142,000. You're guaranteed 2 Superior Dragon Bones and 2 Blue Dragon Hides each kill, and you'll often see multiple rune and dragon items, lots of runes, and if you're lucky, the 1 in 5,000 drop of a skeletal visage, which, as of this guide, is close to 30 million. Killing Vorkath at high level is very good cash. Killing him at slightly lower levels is still very good cash. Along with profit, you have a 1 in 50 chance each kill of receiving Vorkath's head. If you don't get this within your first 50 kills, the 50th kill is a guaranteed head drop. Take the head to Ava in Draenor Manor, bring 75 mithril arrows and your Ava's accumulator, and she'll upgrade it to Ava's Assembler, which is the best in slot back item for rangers. And that is Vorkath, an undead blue dragon killed once during the Dragon Slayer 2 quest and afterwards for huge profit. I hope this beginner's guide has been useful. All my videos are made possible by my wonderful patrons, so a huge thank you to all of you. You can contact me on Twitch, Twitter or Discord. Links are all in the description below. Let me know if you have any questions, and as usual, have a great day.